Welcome back to Retro Wednesday. This is Idarium here. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Toy Island version of the mostly G.I. Joe upscaled figures for Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Now, truth be told, there's really no G.I. Joe versions of Mortal Kombat, but we'll get into that when I get into that next month, talking about the G.I. Joe Mortal Kombat. But these are a little bit bigger. They are a little bit different. It's a small toy line, but I'm not going to cram it all in the same one with G.I. Joe, because the G.I. Joe one is pretty big for us, one-year toy line. But these came out in 1996 to 1998. In that time frame, they are a little bit bigger, a little bit fun. Pretty cheap. They were pretty cheap back then. Still pretty easy to collect today. Not the hardest thing ever. But let's get into taking a look at each one of these and kind of just start easing into next month's Joe version. We're going to compare these to the Joe versions as we go. Coming up. Alright, so let's get started by looking at this and taking a look at the size comparison. So this is the Toy Island figure. This is a Joe of the same figure, and we're going to do a little bit better comparison of that. Visionaries are shorter, cops are taller, and classified modern scaling is taller yet even. So where does this fit? It fits kind of nowhere, but it's still really fun. It fits with itself. Good thing they have enough of their own figures and characters, and I'll get into my own speculations why they went with this scale. Toy Island is a company known for getting licenses after other companies have run their course and then doing their own thing with them at a lower price point, and they do some different stuff with their figures, figure lines. Really, none of them really scale together exactly right. This doesn't exactly scale to RoboCop, but sort of close. I mean, you'd expect RoboCop to tower this, and they do make one that's bigger than this guy in their Alpha series, but then they throw in stuff like electronics. They do a bunch of stuff like that. I still haven't done the Toy Island RoboCop because I don't have it all. They made so much RoboCop. Oddly enough, Mortal Kombat, they only made a few figures. All right, now we're going to get into Liu Kang, and as we can see, I have a carded version back here so you can see what it looks like. Let's kind of get the glare off of it. There's some pretty decent artwork if I can get it to show without knocking too much stuff down. Liu Kang, 3 for $10. Originally $7, actually. Still not that bad. Now, as I should have kind of done comparisons and stuff, but I really don't think I think they use the exact same molds for the launcher. I'm not 100% sure about the weapons. I don't believe that sword is the same, but I know that this weapon looks similar to one we've seen with, was it T-Bangs? Was it T-Bangs, or which one was that? It was one of those from Ninja Force that had that weapon. And with that, yeah, I'm not really too worried about the weapons, accessories. If I've got them, I'm going to show them. If I don't, I'm not. So here we go. Now this is, so you can see, scaled up. And he comes with this shirt, which, you know, it's one of those things, like, I think a shirt or clothing, I went after. The weapons, accessories, I think is just silly. But the clothing, I felt like it was just something very necessary. I mean, if I want to go back after the weapons, I could probably just find regular Joe ones laying around. And I think I did that with her. We'll see her in a bit. But you can see they use the exact same mold, but bigger. And I don't know the process of taking a mold and making it bigger, making the hands with a bigger gap in it so they can hold. So I guess those weapons must be bigger so they can hold bigger weapons. But yeah, everything's pretty much the same sculpt. Just leveled up. Video game line, leveled up. And the funny thing is, it still uses the same exact stands I use with Joe's. So the holes in the feet are the same size. Same size holes. Can I get the light on it just right? Same size holes in the feet. So, yeah, could just use the same old stands. And I have those on Amazon. I'll probably link it down below if I think about it. But, so, what does this mean for collecting this toy line? It means that all these characters, some of these are exactly the same. Several of them. And then some are different for whatever reason. We'll get into that, each one of the figures, as we go. But this one here is Liu Kang, and Liu Kang wins. Next up, we're going to look at Johnny Cage, which is effectively the same figure, except brilliantly, I guess, they painted his whole lower legs black, and then they did kind of have the straps that go on the ankles. and they had those painted blue instead of red. So why he went blue instead of red, I don't know. They wanted to maybe make it look like they're not copying the mold or not upping the mold. This might be a 1.5 up, because it's definitely not a 2 up. It's probably 1.5 up on this one here. And then there's the blue semi-gauntlets on the hands. I'm sure there's a better word for it than that. And then there's the Joe version, looking at him from behind here. And you could still tell where the sculpt is still there for the shorts, but they painted it all the way down, which is interesting. It's very interesting that they did that, but of course they're meant to be shorts. So funny, interesting stuff they did. He does have molded in sunglasses and shades. He does look kind of cool. And since this is a little makeshift figure stand I made so I could hold cards there, and there's his weapons accessories, similar to what we got with Liu Kang, except different launcher and gold weapons, but nothing really all that special with these guys. Now this is still Series 1, so I'm going to do Series 1, then Series 2, and then talk about the vehicle. But right now this is Johnny Cage does not win. So the third one we're looking at in Series 1 was Raiden. And he, I guess I've got the accessories, like a giant sword, and he's got some sort of a stick that he's got there. But I do want to point this out. Toy Island's plastic, the white is still super white. I didn't bleach this or anything. It's just how it came. Most of them do look pretty decent. I just had a 1990 something missile fire at me. This is the first figure I got for Mortal Kombat years ago, decades ago. It's just been laying around, and when I finally started collecting this, I'm like, hey, I got a Raiden somewhere, so I'm gonna buy that. Which he's really not an expensive figure anyway. But this is the Joe, this is the Toy Island, and you're gonna see that with Toy Island. Some of the fun school stuff, like some of the Brazilian versions of G.I. Joe, the Spirit, the blue, still looks better, it hasn't faded. Some of the figures, just the colors don't fade as much, possibly because they made them in the 2000s or the late 90s instead of in the early 80s, and so that's a big part of what happened here. But this guy was still made in the 90s also. But anyhow, there's the difference. Now, I'm going to point out some major differences. The color of the hat, I'll just call it a hat. The straps are not painted on Toy Island. The belt's not painted on Toy Island. He is straight rocking the white there. Shiny, shiny black on the chest. And then we get to the back here, and I've got a little yellowing to mine. No, I don't really mind. It's not a big deal. And then, in fact, actually, I thought about upgrading the figure, but it's special because it's the first one of these I got. But guess what? Upgrading or swapping parts is hard because you have no screw in the back. If you notice that with the back, no screw in the back, because it is like the Ninja Force stuff where it has this. And it's only up and down. It doesn't. You can't pull it back to go up, and it's only the one arm, which is fine with me. I think it's better that way. So the mechanism, just one arm's kind of unusable, but it carries the same mechanism. So they copied the mechanism too, which I think is cool. And the other thing, they both have the crazy looking white eye. All they got's whites of their eyes, but yeah, they both look good. Actually, I think the Joe paint on the face looks better. There you go, Raiden. Next up, we've got Scorpion, and if you're chasing down the accessories, same accessories as Liu Kang, it appears. And they're silver, maybe a slightly different version of silver, but silverish is what it looks like from my picture, but no launcher. Why? Because Scorpion is a very, very popular character. Now, mine's a little bit rough, it's got some scuffs here and there. It's not the greatest one in the world, but it was cheap, so hey, Mike's all about the cheap. But this one here, the construction, you don't have a hole in the back. There's the Joe one, and I'm not sure if you're supposed to have a strap in it like the Joe one did, like the one, and it, again, these really aren't Joe, but they are Joe, but they're not Joe. They're not part of G.I. Joe, the Joe construction. And so getting back to this guy here, he should have some sort of a function. And this one has two-way function, or I've just really worn it out. Oh. Nope, it's only supposed to have one-way function. Notch it back so we can get his hands there. You break that internal mechanism, it's broke. Whoa, whoa. Get over here. Does that really do it? They didn't think about anything from the game when they made these. Get over here. Well, anyway, Scorpion, and probably one of the, I wouldn't say it's the most sought after in here, but yeah, the most sought after, because people repaint this so they can have all 3 colors, or 4 or 5 colors. Next up we have Sonia Blade. Sonia Blade wins. I don't remember playing her as a character. I don't remember her at all as a character. But anyway, it's Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and I only played, I think, Mortal Kombat 2. It's the only one I played. Was she in that one? Maybe. Anyhow, looking at her from the Joe version up to the standard version, it's really strange. If we can get down here to the feet, she's wearing some topless shoes. I don't know how you reference all the shoes, and it's still cut out to have that paint on there, but they just painted it all black, probably to save a little money. One less paint app, one less paint app you got to worry about, one less. And then coming up, they added camouflage to her, which is really strange. I found that very odd that they did that. To the back, she's got a screw so you can fix her up if she is broken, and yeah, they copied the mold. The hair flows even the same way, so interesting. This one here, I kind of feel like out of all the figures, this one is the least, the one people want the least, like the cheapest one you can get. But at the same time, it's the most interesting, one of the more interesting ones to me, because I didn't know they ever made it. I don't know who the character is, and getting it in the larger scale was fun. I mean, it was just kind of fun to collect this figure. But not very many female characters made, and with that, this is definitely an interesting character to have in their lineup of Mortal Kombat Trilogy figures. Sonya Blade. Does she win? Next up is Subzero, but he's not modeled after Subzero. He's modeled after this dude. And as you can see, similarities, there's no grenades on him, but he does have these crossed daggers on his chest. He's got the shoulder things going on. He's got the shin guards matching up pretty well. The light's not getting his shin guards very well, but they copied the figure, upped it 1.5 times or something, 50% up, and then everything else is pretty much the same except the head. The head is different. Now, you're going to notice that he still has this function like that, and he's got a scar on his eye, short hair, instead of long and balding like an old dude. And does he have a function? Yep. So when they copy it, they literally just copy it straight over what the function feature is. And then, you know, I'm guessing they did this because they felt like it's just a cash grab to just keep painting them the same way. But guess what? This is what people would have wanted anyway. They would have bought it. They would have wanted it to look like, guess what? The game. Anyhow, I'm not sure why they went that route. I'm just guessing and grabbing at straws. But this is their take on Subzero. I kind of find it a bit of a disappointment. Next up, we have the first of Series 2, Cyrax. Cyrax is the first of Series 2. And as for his accessories, looks like he comes with a sword and maybe a nunchuck. I can't exactly make out what that is, but I don't have them, and I'm not really too concerned about it. But he is an interesting looking dude, and you're going to notice I haven't talked about articulation so much yet because of the fact that everything's been exactly, or more or less, G.I. Joe articulation. Vintage Joe articulation. This guy's completely different. He does not have Joe articulation. He looks like he's got a whole bunch of pads. He's got this extra belt thing on him, and he's got a screw in the back so you can take him apart and fix him, I guess. I haven't tried ever. So his head goes side to side, his shoulder he's just on a joint like that. He's got elbow movement, waist swivel, and then knee articulation. This one moved on me, so let's just use this one. I don't want to break the guy. I think I probably already got cracks. And it is constructed to where it's sealed right here. So it's sealed on like that, which is interesting. Completely different construction from G.I. Joe. Completely doing their own thing, going in their own direction with this series. And I don't know the back history on this guy, Cyrax. It's just, he is a cool looking guy, cool looking character, and he doesn't exist in the Joe line, which makes the Toy Island that much more special. Cyrax. Next to the Series 2, I've got Jade right here. The name's up there at the top of the card. I got her carded because it was about the same price to get her carded as getting a loose one, missing everything. So why not just get her carded? And also, I was thinking it's fun to see the stuff that we see on the back. So quickly, we're going to flip around. We're going to see the back. You see the artwork of 1, 2, 3, 4 new characters, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 new characters. And then they did several reissues of Series 1, and not just the 2, but quite a few of them. So with that, we just looked at Cyrax, and now we can get a close-up on his accessories, and you can make out whatever they are. I think it's nunchucks and a sword. And so we can just refer back to this for all the rest of them. But right now we're interested in her. So she has kind of like a bun, her hair up in a bun, and she's got her face covered. She's got a very determined look on her face. She's got green, which I think it really looks cool. Like this color green on her. A golden sai, and then a whatever this is. Now we're about to find out if they upscaled those. And turns out, yes, they did. This is T-Bangs, and just put it on there. You can see it is significantly smaller than T-Bangs. Is that his name? See, I did the video and then, like, I don't remember all 503 names 100%, but I have a good working knowledge of it. That little Toy Island symbol down there, that's a whole lot of fun. But this is a cool figure. I probably will pick up a loose one if I see one cheap enough somewhere along the lines, but just having one sealed in the package, minty, is good enough for me. I don't go after stuff carded so much, vintage, because it costs so much, but if it's the same price, do it. Jade. Jax is the next character in here in Series 2, and he is a cool looking character. I have to admit that I thought this was an interesting looking character. Feels like he's missing something because he's got bare chest and cyborg arms. It almost feels like he should have like cyborg, I don't know, like he's got this on the back and that should carry over to the front with something. It just feels like something, you know, maybe something sort of like this, but on the front. And as you can tell, they just kind of followed the same construction as they did with the Cyrax figure, and same articulation and all of that. But a cool looking figure. I do like the purple. Notice the pins that you see in there. Yeah, you see the pins. And Joe was kind of ahead of their time because, I mean, they're sort of pinless. It's all internal pins connecting it. So this is kind of reverting back to just the technology of pins of the day. But a cool looking figure at that. Now I kind of got the feeling so his arms are cyborg because the artwork shows like metal cyborg arms. And then his weapons, he's got that kind of Uzi that we saw, but it's silver. So it's the same, whatever you want to call this gun, except silver. And he's got a golden sword. He's got the golden sword. But it really does feel like these are cyborg arms. But the paint that they put on them don't make them feel like cyborg arms. But they're cyborg arms. That's what it is. And, I'm wondering if it was deliberate paint app to get it on there to show that he's got cyborg arms connected to him instead of just painting the arms. That's an interesting touch, too. And there he is from the back, a little bit more from the back. But yeah, this one here is one that was a surprise to me because I didn't... Another of many that I didn't know existed was Jax. And he is jacked. Alright, next up we have Sha Kane. Sha Kane is... Let's get him back here so we can see him. That's a pretty trippy looking figure, to tell you the truth. And he looks tough, he looks mean, he looks raw dog. And I think it's a good looking figure. I feel like the cape really makes him look even more amazing. Sort of feels kind of like Shredder-ish in a way. But not really Shredder. Anyway, this helmet, I don't think it's supposed to be removable. I think it's all just one piece. So I'm not going to try. He's got this cool looking skull in the middle of him. Is that what that is? Then this piece here, it's probably really is removable, but I'm not going to mess with it. You have to take them apart to do all that. But he's got some pads down here. But, spikes on his wrists. Spikes on his cape. And his cape is removable. So, I mean, the good part about removing the cape is that you could remove it and then put it on another figure if you want to. But there it is. I think that's a cool looking figure. It's one that we didn't get. I think we might have got the character, but not looking like this in the main line. but I have to get the rest of the mainline stuff together. Probably do that one in about a month with the regular Joe stuff. And yeah, this is an interesting, fun figure, and it is Sha Kane. Series 2. So there was one vehicle they made in the line. It was a remote-controlled Hummer. I don't know how well it fits these larger figures, but it was made in the RoboCop line, and then it was repainted for a Rambo one-off kind of toy, and then it was also reused in this line. So I don't know what came first, the chicken, the egg, or the mobile combat remote-controlled Hummer with a remote. And I think it came with a Jax figure, if I remember correctly. And with that, kind of interesting, not something I'm going to run out and seek out and try to find, because it actually makes absolutely no sense that these guys get a Hummer. Alright, so I really hope you enjoyed this look at the Toy Island figures. And this is Mortal Kombat back in the late 90s, and it's kind of fun. These figures are fun because they're affordable to collect, because there's not a whole lot of them to fill out your collection. And for the most part, a lot of these weapons are just reused from the G.I. Joe line. So anyhow, I'm curious what you guys think about this. Do you collect Mortal Kombat? Is Mortal Kombat a big deal to you? And do you like these more than the modern stuff that's coming out? Because all reality, I kind of like these the most. These and the Joes. We'll talk about this and more when we get into the Joe one next month. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Happy Retro Wednesday. Try to hang around.
Scorpion wins. Is that your best?